Be cautious with fearful dogs and the use of aversives, right? Meaning corrections and things like that. A lot of bad behavior in dogs comes from some degree of anxiety or fear, right? And so your dog's likely, if they're afraid, to do things that you don't like. And because of that, you're much more likely to correct the dog for the unwanted behavior, the pup. But the problem with that is if your dog is fearful of something and they behave badly and you correct them, you don't help their attitude about the thing they were afraid of. You may stop the bad behavior, but you don't make them less afraid of that thing, and you actually frequently make them more afraid. So it's not that you never use aversives on dogs and puppies that are afraid. Sometimes it's necessary, but you try to minimize it as much as possible, and you try to be very careful, right? Because if you can avoid that, you're better off, because the chances that you make that dog more anxious around the thing they were already anxious about is significant. Because now they thought this thing was bad, and then you correct them, and sure enough, you confirmed their suspicions. Yep, that thing's bad. It's even worse than I thought, right? Because bad stuff's now happening to me. So just be cautious about that. And I say this because in puppies, most of the bad behavior that people see is because the puppy's uncomfortable and anxious to some degree, right? Your puppy barking at something, a lot of times it's because the puppy's a little anxious. That's one of the ways they cope with things. So here comes a stranger coming up, your puppy's like, I don't know who that is, hackles up, woof, 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 right? So your puppy's telling you they're afraid, they're nervous, and one of the ways of dealing with something that makes you nervous is to bark at it, to try to drive it away, right? There are different ways that dogs cope with anxiety. Your dog might tuck its tail and try to run. Your dog might roll over on its back and pee, going, don't hurt me, don't hurt me. Or your dog might hackle up and bark at it, right? And it's dependent on your dog's wiring and temperament in general, but that's all coming from the same place, a place of insecurity. And so me correcting my little puppy for barking at that thing or growling at it is not going to make the fear better, right? So be careful about that. Again, there's no, like this idea now, it's gotten a little bit out of hand with the reward-based training community. So we talk all the time about the kind of push and pull in the culture of dog training between people that are trying to do things with all rewards and no punishment and no physical corrections, and the other people that are saying like, all rewards are bribery, and if you want your dog to do it, it should do it because it respects you. So you have the two opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Because of the strong emphasis on reward-based training in the last 20, 25 years, there are a whole bunch of people that they've come up with this idea that this is a blanket prohibition. You never, ever use pressure on a dog that's afraid because you'll make it worse. But that's not necessarily true. There are degrees of pressure. It's more complicated than that, right? And we've gotten to a spot where everybody's afraid to make their dog do anything if they're afraid. If the dog's nervous, then they're worried about compelling the dog to do anything. But it's necessary, and sometimes that's a tool in helping the dog get better. All I ask is if you think your dog's really fearful, just be cautious about that stuff. Avoid stronger, more intense corrections. Do you have a workaround? Do you have other ways of approaching it? But when we talk about socialization, one of the things that you see it all the time, your dog's afraid to walk down a set of stairs. And so typically, your dog come up to the stairs and your dog's like, ooh, stairs, yikes, right? And so the first line of defense typically is I take rewards and I try to lure you up the stairs and I feed you on the stairs and we go up and down the stairs and the dog's like, oh, stairs are great, no problem, right? For another dog, they're like, nope, 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 don't want the rewards, that's scary, no. And for some of those dogs, I just go, come on, we're going up the stairs, want to or not, we're going up, and they're like, oh, okay, right? And after that, they're fine. They're jamming up and down the stairs. And you made them go, they were afraid, you made them go, and they got better. Other dogs, you try to make them go when they're in that mode, and they get worse and worse and worse. You make it, now they're panicking anytime they get within 20 feet of stairs, and they're trying to take off and go the other direction because you're about to drag them up and down the stairs, right? So you have to be sensitive in those circumstances. Is this getting better? How resistant is the dog? How panicky are they? How motivated are they? All those things come in. So what works beautifully for one dog is exact wrong thing for the other dog, right? And so, but that idea that, oh, if your dog's afraid, you never compel them to do things, that's gotten out of hand to the point where people are saying never. But do exercise caution around fear and aversive experiences.
We post our social media videos to our website, leerburg.com, a week or two before we post them to our YouTube channel. These early release videos can be found on the front page of our site or by going to the site and selecting Video on Demand from the toolbar, and then select Free Videos. Thank you for watching.